Howdy all Moglex Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so that is the wrong button. So I've been playing a little bit today. Little bit. Ooh, I'm out of rocks. Alright. It was crazy. I logged in and zombies spawned again, and so I had to deal with a whole nother round of crazy zombie horde. And what was that? It was water, and then I'm still close enough. I just heard the airplane go over, so I want to go get the crate. But yeah, the zombies came around, and how far away is the crate? Oh, it's a good chunk. Let's take the motorcycle. Let me see if I can remember where I left my motorcycle. I know there's one back there, but that's not the one I was using. So I died. Obviously, I died a couple of times. The zombies came running from this direction again, and I couldn't shoot them from up there, so I dropped down on this ledge right here, and I was shooting them, and then a police officer zombie came out, and I tried to move over to get him, and then I fell right into the middle of the group here. And so then I ran down to try and get my stuff, and then they got me again, so I got on the motorcycle and I just drove around a bit until it got to be daytime. And then I've been working on getting some cement together to try and patch some of these holes. They were going for all the pillars, man, trying to knock down my garden. I definitely gotta get that fixed. But I want to get this loot drop first. Wherever it is out here. But yeah, it didn't look like they did too much damage to the base, but they did get some of the pillars in the front, and I definitely don't like that at all. Oh, there it is. What we get? We get shotgun I don't need. We got some shells, some cornmeal, some salmon. We got some rockets, some antibiotics, another beaker. Not a great drop, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I think that gives me like 5 extra beakers now, so when I finally do get that chemistry station going, I will, what is this? I have not been over here. Or I have been over here. I never looted that place, though. But, yeah, we should be able to get back in and get some holes patched today. I do definitely, now that I've got enough points into everything, I do definitely want to get some blade traps going for next time. Get a general idea where they need to be now. And so definitely need to do something about that, because spikes are not cutting it. I mean, they blew some holes. They blew some holes right through my walls, and I don't like having all those holes in the walls. So while we're working on that, we did advance some D&D here the last couple of days. I played a game Wednesday night, and then my online games. Online game that the guy who DMs my Wednesday night game has not updated in 85 days now. A little over 85 days. I keep posting how long it's been to see if I can spur him into action, because when I talk to him about it, he says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get right on that." But it's been like 80 85 days would have been Saturday. So today would be 88 days since the last time he posted anything. And in my opinion, it's actually been closer to 100 days since he posted anything of worth, because his last post was, nothing happens overnight, and I'll update you tomorrow on what's next. And so I don't really call that a post. I mean, yeah, he wrote something down, but I mean, that's it. He just wrote something down, basically. Okay, medical. And yep, looks like they're in here. Some frag rounds, another rocket launcher. Okay, how are we doing on cement here? Yeah, give me some concrete mix. Let me get my rebar and my my hammer down here. See, I only made 50 rebar. I poked a hole through here. Are you fixing or updating? You guys, it doesn't look like you're fixing. See, that's a fix. I guess I can't tell the difference between where they cracked it and where... I mean, look at this hole. They blew right through into the bathroom here. Like, that's got to be them, right? There you go. But yeah, my it's like I got funny. This is funny to me. So we're so in the game I'm running for my brother and his family, they went in this building that has zombies in it, and so the zombies are this particular kind called ash zombies, and so when you hit them, they give off a puff of ash because the town was overwhelmed by a volcano. And so they're fighting the ash zombies, and I do little maps so they can see, because we're playing online through Discord, and so I just I've got a little map, and I draw people's names where they're standing on the map so they know where they're at, and then I update it after like every round of combat or so. And so my sister-in-law, she says, I want to move in and hit him with my quarterstaff. And I look at the map and I'm like, well, I mean, you can see where you're standing on the map. You can't get to the zombies with your quarterstaff. Not from where you're standing. You'd have to like leave the building or something, go around the other side. And she's like, oh, well, what if I hit him with poison? Poison's got 10-foot range. And I'm like, well, you could hit them with poison, but the last time you fought them, they were... That was weird. Program just completely shut down my game and popped up letting me know it had an update ready. I'm in the middle of something. How dare you steal my focus? So she, I'm like, so the poison, you know, they're immune to it. You know they're immune to it. You've seen that they're immune to it. You know, I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill that spot in as well. And, so she's like, oh, I mean, I guess I didn't pay attention to when that happened last time. I'm like, that's fine. And so, same afternoon, just a couple hours later, it gets back around to her turn, and she says, I want to move in and hit him with my quarterstaff. I'm like, you couldn't hit him with the quarterstaff last turn. Nobody's moved. You still can't get to them with your quarterstaff. So she puts an angry face emoji in. And so she got an ability where she can teleport. She's like, fine, I'll face step to where they're at. Or face step behind them. I'm like, okay, I'll let you do that. That works. But it's like, come on, just... There's a reason I give you a map. Man, they tore apart my poor garage door. Guess we could fill this in with blocks a little bit here, too. Oh, that's a little weird to block over top of... things like that. Alright, so I think that fixes most of the outside. And then we did our Wednesday night D&D, which can be, let's go with exhausting most times. And this week was no different. So we get started, and we're in combat at the beginning of the night, because we quit last week in the middle of combat. And so we were told to... Is this the only... Nope. It's a weird spot they tore open here. We were told the previous week that we had to roll wisdom checks, and then 2 of the 3 characters failed their wisdom check, and so he says, you, to the other guy that plays, you have disadvantage on all of your dice rolls because you have Eye Bite, which is a spell from these things we're fighting. And then he's like, and then he says, and your guy turned into a toad. I'm like, okay. So I wrote down that my guy was a toad, so I'd know at the start of this week that my guy was a toad. He didn't say how I got turned into a toad, just that I was a toad. So I don't know. I'm just playing the game, and I thought maybe it was a special ability that the things we were fighting had. And because who knows with the thing that he's using to run the game, what's real and what's not at this point. And he makes comments like he's taking it straight from the book, but I have the book, and I know the stuff he's doing is nothing like the book, so I don't know why he keeps lying. I mean, I guess I know he's a lying liar most of the time, so... So then we start this week, and something happens to the character he controls, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I should have counterspelled that. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna back that up and counterspell it." And then later he makes a comment about how I have polymorph on my character, and that's why I'm a toad. I'm like, wait. I have polymorph? Polymorph is a spell. Why didn't you tell me they were casting a spell on me? I could have counterspelled that. I have counterspell. I told you they were casting polymorph on you. I'm like, no, you just said roll a wisdom save. Oh, you're a toad. Oh, well, I mean, I guess it's been like 4 rounds now that you've been a, well, I guess 2 rounds now that you've been a toad. In fact, I don't think my guy ever came out of being a toad until one of the other characters killed the night hag, it turns out we were fighting, who cast the spell, and so we I'm like, no, it's been a couple rounds, I'm fine with it, whatever. It just would be nice if you would explain what's happening instead of just telling us the results without telling us what anything is doing, because we can never play the game because you're always changing the results or why things happen, so we never know what's going on. And I need a few of these rebar. I guess, oh, I didn't have any rocks, right? I've got to go get rocks before I can get more. Although I do have a lot of concrete still. And so, we finish off these night hags, and he doesn't play any of it the way the book says it's supposed to be played. So there's these 3 night hags, and when they're together, they're a coven. And so a coven of night hags have shared spellcasting abilities. So if there aren't 3 night hags, they don't have those same spells. Which he didn't do. So, I mean, he didn't let them keep their spells. So I was a little surprised. He tried to, and then he talked himself through it. And it's like, oh, well, I guess a dead one doesn't count as being present. I'm like, no, it definitely does not. And so, but then they don't have spellcasting really anymore, and still he casts spells. Like, they have some spells they can cast, but they just cast them the way they are, and he's bumping them up levels so he can do more damage to us. She's going to cast a spell at level 3. She doesn't have spell slots anymore. She gets to cast Magic Missile, not Magic Missile at level 3. But whatever. And, you know, I feel like this should be bumped up here. I'm afraid it's going to collapse and bring the whole place down on me. And so we went through all that hassle, and then we survived. And he told me before we got started that he wasn't sure we were going to be able to survive the fight. And if we did survive the fight, that he was definitely going to be ramping up the difficulty of the campaign. Because if we survived that fight, then it definitely wasn't difficult enough. Because he believes we should die. He does not believe that we should enjoy the game. He does not believe that we should win the game. We should definitely die. And so then we... Oh, look, there's another spot where they broke out a pillar. That's a funny looking pillar. Oh man, I don't have the wood to fill that in. Alright, let's go chop down a tree then so I can get some wood to fill in a couple of these boxes I see laying around. And so yeah, so who knows what's going to happen next. And so then we're looking at our list of stuff that we can do. And the children that we just rescued, which is why we were fighting these hags, are from one of the nearby towns. So we went to the nearby town, and then we stayed the night there, and then the next day we were like, all right, so here's the list of things that we need, or here's the list of things we know about. And one of the things was this missing wizard, and so we're like, all right, we're gonna go check on the missing wizard. And so we head off that way, and then he's like, how we run into people, how the people are on their way to Vallaki, which is another town, and I don't even know the point of that. Like, nothing happened from it. We didn't have a conversation with them. We weren't really even allowed to talk to them. Just that they were headed to the other town. That's it. Don't look at them, don't talk to them, don't have a reason for them to even be there. That's it. And, like, alright, fine, whatever. We'll move on then. And, so then we run into a black carriage with nobody in it, and yet the door opens. And, so we're like, okay, well, I mean, does anybody really want to stop for this black carriage where the door opens? I mean, I don't want to fight again. Like, I'm tired. And the other guy I play with also sent me a message. And he's like, you know what? I'm tired of having to do things just because they're there and not because we've ever been given a reason to do them. I'm like, oh, I know what you're talking about. So sure, we're in a carriage on our way to do something, and then suddenly there's another carriage that shows up uh, with nobody in it, and we're supposed to stop and check it. And I'm like, well, I mean, do we really? Oh, right, because that goes into metal next. Like, do we really need to check it? I mean, is there a reason to check it? Do we have a reason? Does the NPC with us think we should stop and check it? And she's like, well, I don't want anything to do with it. It has to be from Strahd, the bad guy. I'm like, well, then that seems like a reason not to be involved with it, right? If she feels it's dangerous, then we'll just go on. And he's like, really? You're not going to stop and check it? I'm like, well, do we have a reason to check it? He's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, right, exactly. And so, no, we're going to move on. And he's like, it follows you. It doesn't try to catch up to you or anything. Just follows at a distance behind you. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just headed to the same town we are. I think that's pretty much everything. Let's get a little yucca juice in me, and then we'll unload my crafting gear, and then I think we'll head off and try and do this quest here about hunting spider zombies. I'm gonna use a shotgun. And so we finally stop and we check the thing. That's when the guy's like, you know, I'm tired of doing things just because they're there and not because we have a reason to do it. I'm like, oh yeah, I get you, man. I get you. And so there's a letter, and so he gives us the letter, and the letter says that Strahd, I almost called him Dracula, Strahd would like to have dinner with us because we have survived far easier, and it has not been easy. We're almost always almost dead, and but we have survived far easier than he expected, and he would like to discuss some things because we've been interfering in his plans, and so. But it says tomorrow night. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, tomorrow night is a long way off, so we'll go ahead and just continue on our way to do the quest we want to do. I can't remember how to load fuel into my motorcycle, apparently. And he's like, wait. No, that's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say tonight. He wants to speak with you tonight. I'm like, oh, okay. Because that's not what's written there, but okay. I'm like, well, it's early morning, so we really still have plenty of time to go check out the forest where this wizard is supposed to be. So let's go do that. Let's go check the forest, and then we'll come back. And so we head out, and then there's like multiple spots he could be that we've been told. And so we get there, and he accuses us of being... Or no, and so then I roll. He wants us to roll to find the guy, and I roll a 20. And so our DM goes crazy when you roll a 20. And so like, ooh, 20. 20, you gotta roll again. So you can get another 20. Which I hate. I hate. Just give us a thing, man. Just... It's a success. Let's just have a success. I don't need it crazy. Oh, thanks. Thanks, flaming zombie. I can't see. Does this put out the fire? Dang it. You know, it doesn't put out the fire? Dying. Well, I guess technically that did put out the fire, but... I'd have won that too if I hadn't been set on fire and couldn't see anything. times. And so we'll go along, and I wonder if I have enough gas in this to... You probably don't have any gas, do you? Alright, let me go see if I've got some gas inside. I think I got a little bit in here. So, we find the wizard, but we're not allowed to talk to him. So it was pointless. The whole thing was pointless. He told us about it, so he wanted us to go there. We went there, but we weren't actually allowed to have a conversation with him. He accused us of being the enemy. We told him that people were concerned that he was missing, and we were just checking to make sure he was okay. And then he said he didn't believe us, and he turned into a bird and flew off. And I'm like, oh, dang it. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that was a good waste of time, I guess. I feel like that's just the way it goes. Like, everything we do is just a big waste of time, constantly. And, we never... like, nothing is ever straightforward, nothing's ever a clue. Everything is hemmed and hawed and convoluted because he can't keep his thoughts straight as he is describing things, and it drives me crazy sometimes. And so last night was just a big nothing. We went to the wizard. He didn't talk to us. We went to Strahd. Strahd wouldn't talk to us. Strahd invited us to dinner to discuss things. He demanded that we work for him. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, you just listed off all these people that are giving you problems, but you also told us that you were the supreme master of these lands, and nothing happens without your leave. You can't get it both ways. Obviously, you're not as in control as you think you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't need us to take care of problems. Right? I mean, if everything happens to amuse you, then, you know, and he's like, it gets boring trapped here. I'm like, well, maybe we can free you. Is there something we can do to set you free or unlock the land so that people can just come and leave as they please? And so he didn't have an answer for that. He, after we had our big discussion about how he's not as powerful as he thinks he is, then our DM is like, let me see what spells he's got. And so then he cast what I would know to be Disintegrate. Strahd doesn't have Disintegrate. I don't know where he's getting that. Disintegrate's a high-level spell. Strahd's a 9th level spellcaster. My guy's a 6th level spellcaster. He could almost go toe-to-toe with Strahd at this point. I think our group could probably one on 4 take Strahd down at this point. If we got to play against Book Strahd and not guide I downloaded off the internet from a different version of the game Strahd. And you know, I don't really have any reason not to go off and explore at this point, right? Backup motorcycle. I'm going to leave this fuel in the backup motorcycle. And I think we're going to let's head over to that grocery store. Because there are reasons to get groceries from the grocery stores now. Because you can make like chili dogs and fish tacos and stuff. So let's head over there and check that place out. And so we're talking with Strahd, and all these people come in, and he's like, what, do you think you can face off against my brides? I'm like, why don't you talk to Ludmilla there, who attacked us in a church somehow, and ask her how it went, because I don't recall us running from that fight. I'm pretty sure that was her. And so I was being pretty belligerent, I'm not gonna lie. I was feeling pretty belligerent at that point. I'm not gonna lie. And so I had sent my familiar as a spider deeper into the castle, and found one of the things that we were looking for. And I don't know how I missed the road. Somehow I missed the road. Why are there holes all over the place here? What is this? Why are there weird holes here? I didn't dig these. Something weird is going on here. Got a big cliff over there too. But yeah, so we talked to Strahd for a bit, and then he got to the point where every time I asked him a question, he would just smile at me. And he's like, he just smiles, and then he's like, you know, doing his Strahd accent, and invites us to go dancing. I'm like, no, if you're not going to answer any more of our questions, we're just going to leave. We've had our dinner. We don't want to dance. We're just going to go. So our DM was not happy with that response. He thought that we would enjoy going up to the ballroom to see more of Strahd's castle, I guess. But you know what? I wasn't really interested in meeting with Strahd. I'm still trying to figure out what we're even doing. Oh, because it wasn't a road, it was a path. Because we haven't actually been given a reason to do anything other than the fact we're trapped. And so Strahd has now given us quests. And so only one of them was a new quest, which is weird. But no, I thought it was really funny because Strahd goes down this rant about how powerful he is and how everything is his and how nothing lives without his leave in Barovia, which is the little area we're in. And I'm like, you just listed all these things. The druids were giving him problems, and we took care of the druids, and I forget, something else was giving him problems, and we took care of that, and something else was giving him problems, and we took care of that. And I'm like, seems suspiciously like you're not in control, and you just happen to be a little bit powerful. If all this stuff is giving you problems, and you need us to take care of it. And so then our DM is like, what, do you think you can take on Strahd? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we could give him a run for his money at this point. And so he's like, Strahd pulls out a knife and cuts himself. And you know that if vampires take enough cuts, they can bleed to death, but no blood comes out from Strahd. I'm like, dude, that doesn't really matter at this point. I have a sword that gives off sunshine. Which stops a lot of vampires' abilities, so... I mean, you know, stop acting like we're weak. We were level 2 and you 6, 7 vampire spawns on us. And yeah, we didn't fight them, but we did fight one of them, or 2 of them, and held our ground at level 2. Well, we're level 6 now, and that's a lot of extra power we've got. Now we're level 7, so we're even more powerful. And I do think we could probably take Strahd at this point. If we got Book Strahd. And it was mostly just him. And we were allowed to bring everything we're supposed to be allowed to bring. One of the things that happened was we picked up a NPC named Esmeralda, and she's a vampire hunter. But so far we haven't been allowed to take her anywhere where she would be useful. Every time we get someplace where she would be useful, she's not allowed to go with us. She couldn't go to Strahd's because she wasn't on the invitation list. And she couldn't go into the city because they don't allow her kind in the city all of a sudden. I'm like, wait, we had some of her people in the city earlier in the game and nobody cared. And he's like, yeah, but they wouldn't help you out because they were with you. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a big difference between won't help you out and it says talk to the trader. Did I complete that quest? I thought this broke. Oh, shoot. I totally did, but then I didn't talk to the trader yet. Huh. You only had to kill 3 of them. There were a lot more than 3 there. Well, dang it. Where's the trader I gotta talk to? I don't even know where I picked up the quest for this. Looks like I can take this road just south of me here. But yeah, so it was we quit about that point. And I don't know what we're gonna do. Oh, I think we're gonna fight werewolves next, because everybody talks about werewolves, but we've never seen any werewolves at this point. And so Strahd wants us to deal with some werewolves who are taking children. Everything's taking children in this. I don't know, but yeah, was not as fun as I had hoped it was going to be this week. And a lot of it is the guide. I blame the guide because he's always telling me how the adventurers are no good, and that you got to do stuff to make them better, and that people don't like Curse of Strahd because it's not spooky enough or difficult enough or something. But we haven't even got to play in the way the book has it laid out, and because he can't follow the quest lines in the book, he literally cannot follow the quest lines in the book. We never know what we're doing or where we're supposed to be going or anything. There's never any clues. Or we get a quest that we can't or aren't allowed to do, which also drives me crazy. I remember we did this Princes of the Apocalypse adventure, and so when we did the Princes of the Apocalypse, he gave us all these quests that don't even happen until way later in the game, and then we don't know that. Like, we don't know that, so we're asking around. Nobody has any information, you know. It's like, the miner's missing, and so we like, oh, well, were they in a mining group? Is there a mine nearby? You know, is there someone we should talk to get more information? Do you have more information about where they're missing? And no, I don't know anything more than that. It's just something I heard. A miner is missing. I'm like, okay. So then we go to the bar and we talk to all the people at the bar.
Jackass, now that you did the job,
and
I guess you ain't all that damn bad after all.
I totally completed that quest. Do you got anything good? I don't have any money though, so it doesn't really help me, does it? Do you got any jobs? Clear zombies. Let's go with that.
Work.
I'm feeling weak.
Next time.
And so,
before you come do a job.
yeah, it's like talking with Strahd, and he's like, he won't answer our questions. Like, why are we having a dinner conversation if he won't talk to us? We basically just got to sit there. The other guy is like, yeah, so the DM, he has talked for an hour and 10 minutes, and between the two of us, we've got to say about 45 words so far tonight. I'm like, yep, that is the way it goes. That's the way it goes every week. Alright, I am going to call it here, so click leave a like, subscribe, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.